Hello, my name is AJ Goldsby. I'm coming to you today to bring you another video in my continuing series of videos on chess. This game is on a game that I saw the other day. It caught my fancy. To be honest, I saw this game in a book or a magazine many years ago, and I was always enchanted with it. And one day, not too long ago, I believe it was February 18th, this game was featured as the problem of the day for Tuesday on the Chess Games website. And after seeing it again, I really enjoyed it so much I decided to do both a web page on the game and do a video. And this game was played between George Salwe, that's S-A-L-W-E, and Akiba Rubinstein. Of course, Salwe was a master, probably actually very close to grandmaster strength. He did very well. I think, in fact, he won the Russian championship one year, and I don't think Rubinstein needs any introduction. Rubinstein was one of the greatest players that ever lived, and he didn't win the world championship, but he in the early 1900s he won several tournaments in a row, and he's one of the very strong tournaments. And he's one of the first players to ever really do that. And many players today, grandmasters, still admire Rubinstein's play, especially his in-game play, and just being some of the greatest of all time. But without any further ado, we'll jump into this game. Again, Salwe is white, George Salwe is white, Akiba Rubinstein is black, and it was played in Lodz, Poland, 1903. And it starts off, and Rubinstein is black in this game. We're going to go ahead and look at it from the white side, because I could flip it around, but I think I will just go ahead and look at it from the white side, because that's pretty much traditional. The feedback that I've gotten from the emails I've received on my web pages and on my videos say a lot of people don't mind when I flip it around, but they prefer that I look at it the standard way. So that's what we'll do here. E4, E5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, 4 knight c3, d6, 5 d3, knight f6, 6 castles. Of course, so far all the moves have been absolutely perfect. This is controlling the center, developing your pieces, that kind of stuff, the 4 basic principles of the opening. And the opening is the Joko piano. And if you want to see good coverage of this line, I can just refer you to either in the Encyclopedia of Chess Openings or MCO. Moving on here, black plays bishop g4. Just noting here, Fritz likes knight a5, black playing his knight to a5. That allows black to win, one of the bishops. But, that's just one move. Bishop g4 is certainly a playable move here. White plays bishop e3. That's a playable move. Nothing wrong with that. Black plays bishop b6. Rubinstein likes clean pawn structures. Actually, Fritz likes just simply castling here. And if, instead of bishop b6, for black to simply castle here, castling kingside. And, if that had happened, then, maybe bishop takes bishop. Black does get double pawns, but I think he's compensated for that by the tremendous amount of pressure, the hold that he has on the d4 square. It makes it almost impossible for white to free himself, and black can anchor a knight on that square. But anyway, that's just an alternative there. Rubinstein played bishop b6. Now Salwe played king h1 here. And I'm not going to try to analyze these moves too deeply. I do want to comment here, though, just running back here to the very first move. When he first played right here, instead of castling, h3 would have prevented all the problems that were associated with this pin. White basically undergoes a lot of problems because of this pin. And if, he wanted to avoid that, simply playing h3 there would have prevented all that. And also, the computer at several different instances prefers to play h3 instead of what was played in the game. But anyway, bishop e3, bishop b6. Here at Salwe, again, he puts his king in the corner, probably believing his king will be a little bit safer there. Rubinstein just increases the pressure, queen d7. He also here is probably thinking already about castling queenside and also an attack on the white king. Black plays a3. That moves, again, one of the things that black could do is play knight a5 and win white's light squared bishop here on the c4 square. So that was a3 is designed to prevent that, because now the light squared bishop has a nice handy dandy little retreat square here on a2. But it really wasn't necessary. It's not a terrible move. I don't think it's a horrible move. And now knight d4. And now white plays rook b1. I could speculate endlessly and try to guess what Salwe was thinking here. And a lot of other players on the page for this game, the Chess Games webpage for this game, they've tried to point at various moves that white did and say, well, here was the bad move or the first wrong move, or when white began to go astray. Really, this is where white really began to go astray. I'll just give you some Fritz analysis here, and I've checked this with Houdini and Ribka and Deep Shredder and several other programs, so I'm 100% sure it's, very, very good analysis. It's very accurate. Better than, Rook B1 would have simply been let's go back to that bishop takes D4 move. Would have been bishop takes D4, bishop takes D4, H3, bishop takes F3, queen takes F3, and now C6 here. And a lot of the engines say black might be a little bit better. I rate the position as unclear. This has to be a huge improvement over the actual game. Certainly, white's maybe a little bit worse, but it's better than what happened in the game. White doesn't have to lose in 14 moves. And I would probably judge this position as approximately equal, or maybe a fair way of saying it's very unclear, because it's not really, and I use the word unclear because, in this sense, because some positions it's very clear, what the classical plan for playing that position here is, and here there's just not, there's a lot of latitude. I mean, it's hard to say exactly what the best plan was for each player, and I'm not going to get into a computer analysis, detailed analysis of this position. This should suffice for this particular webpage, because this game was only 14 moves. But anyway, white played knight A3, recapping. Black played knight D4. Here, Salwe played a very inaccurate, inferior move, rook B1. That was, obviously less than best. Again, hard to guess what Salwe was thinking here when he played that move. And I think this is the beginning of white's real troubles in this game. Black plays H5 here. Fritz for 13 actually prefers the following moves. Bishop takes F3, G takes F3. Queen H3, bishop takes D4, bishop takes D4. Rook G1, castles, rook G3, queen H4, queen F1, G6, knight E2, bishop B6, king G1, C6. And black is probably a little bit better, or even solidly better here in this position. However, I don't think white's position is horrible. And again, he's much better than the actual game. He doesn't have to throw in the towel in just a few moves. So again, backing up here, we're going to just recap a little quick. He played that, Salwe plays rook B1. Rubinstein played H5. And now white plays bishop D4. I give that move an exclam because, it's certainly got to be the proper move. And, it looks like now Salwe's actually understanding what he needs to do to save this game. Bishop takes D4. And now, either king G1 or knight D5 or H3 would have, all been better than the game. Here, white played knight E2. I've got to give that move a question mark. It allows a doubling of his kingside pawns. I know why he did this. He probably thought he could kick this bishop off the D4 square and he would be okay here. So it's, in theory, it's not a bad idea. But to allow the doubling of the pawns here is bad, and all the computers seeing instant great increase in black's advantage after the inaccurate 1292 move. You can give that move a question mark. Again, that's a very inaccurate or incorrect move. And anyway, I know why he did that, but anyway, of course, Rubinstein's going to go ahead and he plays 12, bishop takes F3, doubling the pawns near the king, G takes F3, queen H3, and now it's pretty serious that, white's got a big attack. Now, one thing that white could have done, he had to do was play knight G1 here. He had to play the move knight G1. Instead, he played knight takes D4. And I know why he played that. He thought after knight takes D4, then he would have time for, rook G1, and he's totally safe there. In fact, knight takes D4, if you're playing just a blitz game or you're looking at this game for the very first time, it looks like a very reasonable move. Now I'm going to stop talking for a minute. When I stop talking, I want you to pause the video, because this was the chess games problem of the day, and just see if you can guess. Just take a couple of minutes and see if you can guess what the correct move is. I'll even give you a little hint. It's not the automatic recapture on D4. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking now, and I want you to pause the video. Okay, did you try to guess what the move was? It's not E takes D4, recapturing the knight on the D4 square. Rubinstein plays knight G4. Double exclam, an absolute brilliant move. Here, white resigns. And just to show you, again, this is a line that was checked with all the computers, so I know that it's accurate. Here, white threw the towel in. Mr. Salwe, or however you pronounce his name, Georgie Salwe, he threw in the towel. He resigned because there is no preventing mate. And I'll give you the line that the computer thinks is absolutely forced here. Basically, it proves that, white can delay mate but cannot prevent it. Knight G4, takes. Now, of course, the rook and the queen have a battery on the H2 square, and white has no way of defending that. So now black has to start, white has to start playing giveaway. in order to prevent the mate. Bishop takes f7 check, and black can play king d8, but I like just go ahead and play king takes f7. Knight f3, it's again the only way to protect h2, takes. Queen takes pawn check, queen f3 check, again, now it's giveaway, but it's the only way to stop the mate. Queen takes f3 check, king g1, queen g4 check, king h1, and now just rook takes h2, king takes h2, rook h8 mate. Again, Salwe, either he saw that or he didn't even have to see all that. He knew, you know, usually a strong player won't play giveaway to stop a mate. I mean, as soon as he sees that, you know, mate's impreventable, either he sees that he can't stop the mate or he has to give up a lot of material to prevent mate. You know, usually a human will simply resign rather than play out the game. But anyway, the final move there was that very pretty. Just going to run through the game just very quickly. Just give you all the moves from start to finish because it's a very short game. Just e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, knight c3, d6, d3, knight f6, white castles, bishop g4, bishop e3, bishop b6, king h1, queen d7, a3, knight d4, rook b1, h5, bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, knight e2, obviously that was the move that allowed the double pawns. Bishop takes f3, g takes f3, 13, queen h3, knight takes d4, and of course now knight takes g4. And here white resigns. Again, I already showed you the line. The line is, mate is unpreventable. White goes ahead and throws in the towel. It's a resignable position. Thank you for watching my video. I will have a web page on this video. I will post a link for the web page when it's finished right below the video. If you like my web pages and you like my videos and you'd like to support my efforts on putting out high quality stuff and getting it out on the internet, and you like to support that effort, you know, both web pages and videos. And I've been, just by the word, I've been doing web pages on the internet ever since there has been an internet. In the early days of chess, I used to have a web page, a bunch of web pages on the Excite. It was one of the very first masters to post anything on the internet. And of course, the Excite series of website, after 3 or 4 years, I don't know exactly how it was, it crashed. And I mean, literally, it was there one day and just gone the next. I mean, everything was totally erased. But anyway, I've been doing web pages on the internet about chess ever since there pretty much, you know, there has been an internet. And that was either the late 80s or early 90s, whenever that was. But anyway, if you enjoy my videos and would like to support that effort, please go to the PayPal website. That's www.paypal.com and make a contribution under my email address, which is LifeMasterAJ@yahoo.com. And of course, drop me a line if you enjoy my videos, you want to say anything about my videos, or you have any suggestions, and you can always drop me a video. I would like you to remember, though, I do try to always keep things mostly simple and not do too much analysis in the videos. And also, too, I always have to think about beginners who are watching the game, because generally the feedback that I'm getting is, for the most part, the large majority of the people who watch a lot of these videos, some of them are basic beginners. So I'm always going to try to give a lot of latitude and a lot of explanation on both my web pages, on my videos, in case there is a beginner or someone who doesn't know very much about chess who's watching for the first time, so that they can get enough information so that they also can enjoy the chess game. Well, again, thank you for watching my chess game, and have a great day.